In the previous video, we looked at how to handle tap events. In this video, we'll expand on that concept by looking at how to handle touch events in Corona SDK. As mentioned before, events are the principal way in which you create interactive applications. They are a way of triggering responses in your program. For example, you can turn any display object into an interactive button. This flexibility is one of the great things about Corona SDK. As we saw with tap events, touch is a way for users to interact with objects on the screen. However, there is a difference between tap events and touch events. When the user's finger touches the screen, a hit event is generated, which is then dispatched to the display object that was touched and any other display objects beneath it. Only those objects that intersect the hit location are involved. Note, multiple touch events are an extension of single touch events and are enabled by the System.Activate API. See the API docs located on the Corona Labs website for more details. Touch events have a number of properties that you can access to determine what to do within your event handler. One of the most common event properties you will access is event.phase. There are 4 distinct phases of a touch event. Began, when someone places their finger on the screen. Moved, when someone slides their finger around the screen. Ended, when someone lifts their finger off the screen. And canceled, when the system cancels the tracking of the touch. To handle touch events, we can either create an object-level function to handle the event or attach an event listener to the global runtime. Let's look at some code for attaching a function to the display object. In this example, we've created a local variable called object and assigned it to a new display object with a passed-in value of ball.png. Next, we've attached a touch function to the object where we passed in the event as the function parameter, and then we add an event listener, just as we did in the Creating Event Listeners video. Within the touch function, we use conditional logic to check the phase of the event to see what part of the touch we are dealing with. If the touch just began, meaning the user's finger has made initial contact with the display object, then we set focus to the object itself to ensure that the touch event remains associated with the display object even if the touch overlaps another object. If the display object already has focus, as shown in the first else if, then we check to see if the touch has moved, meaning the user's finger has slid from its original touch location on the screen. If it has, then moved phase will be printed to the terminal window. If the user has ended the touch by lifting their finger or the system has canceled the event, then we set focus to nil and remove focus from the display object. Finally, within our function, we return true to let Corona know that the event has been handled. This keeps the touch from propagating down to other objects that may have been underneath the topmost display object. For more information about how events are handled, see the Basic Interactivity and Event Detection Guide located on the Corona Labs website. To use the runtime to handle the touch event, we can create a local function called FunctionName and pass in the event as a parameter. However, this time we won't be using setFocus on our object since we are using the global runtime object to handle our touch event. If we are in the began phase of the touch, we will print began phase to the terminal window. If we are in the moved phase of the event, then we will print moved phase in the terminal window. And if the user has ended the touch event by lifting their finger or the system has canceled the event, then we will print ended or canceled phase instead. And that's a look at how to handle touch events in Corona SDK. Learn more about working with Corona SDK at coronalabs.com/university.